So, as many of you know, I am collecting every single Wii game there is out there. I mean, I got the Wii Scramble going on, I got a bunch of different things happening, and I would just want to show you that there is a way you can start a good Wii collection for under $15 a piece. Heck, you can probably even pick up a Wii for like $60, $70 with like a controller or two. And obviously, this isn't not going to include Wii Sports because Wii Sports is about like $20, $25. Same for Wii Sports Resort, that's about 30 or so. So I'm going to list off 10 games I personally believe that are very good for you to get to start a very good collection. Now, this is in the order of recommendations I would give to people, so I'm going to go from number 10 to number 1, and we'll go from there. So starting with number 10, I would recommend Red Steel. Now, for those who don't know what Red Steel is, you follow Scott Moore, an American bodyguard and the protagonist of the game, who is engaged to Mio Sato, the daughter of Iso Sato. So it starts with him going to a hotel in Los Angeles, where he ends up trying to meet Iso for the first time. And then, somehow, a gang ends up disguising themselves as hotel staff and starts opening fire on Sato's room. Scott tries to help, but unfortunately he's knocked unconscious. When he awakes, he grabs a pistol off the dead bodyguard, and he ends up fighting the game and ends up meeting Sato, and that's how the game goes off. So you follow Scott as you go through this game using these cool, unique mechanics with the Wii Remote, which I honestly find cool because a lot of it was really fun, especially when you get to do multiplayer and stuff like that. You would hold up the Wii Remote to your ear, and it would tell you what to go do, who to kill. It would use the Wiimote functions of the speaker to be able to either give you a mission or allow you to talk to others. I find that very interesting. But it's a good first-person shooter. You can also use the sword that he ends up having to like block and cut bullets, fighting opponents and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's a very nice, good-looking game, and there's also a second sequel, which is the one I ended up actually playing first, because, you know, I ended up getting it because of Wii Motion Plus. But I would recommend Red Steel as a good starter, and it's only about $8, so it's under $10, way under the $15 limit we have set for this so far. The next one I want to talk about is the Conduit. So I remember distinctly when the Conduit was announced at E3. I remember watching it on G4, everyone was talking about it, everyone was raving about it. I never ended up getting it until I was way later when I had my own money, and by then it was cheap. I think it was like $10 or something like that. But the Conduit takes place in the near future, as you know, in Washington DC, as it is shaken up by a bunch of like tragic events and incidents. Basically, a mysterious flu-like disease known as the bug has swept across the region through the water sources, resulting in basically high security locations being left unstaffed as government workers are afflicted. So months break out and pass by. The alleged terrorist attack destroys part of the Washington Monument, and on September 11th, a senator is assassinated by another terrorist cell, reportedly disguised as members of her staff. This basically raises everything and makes it high awareness and high tensions across the nation, bunch of assassination attempts against a bunch of other people, and then you end up being Agent Michael Ford, and you have to go against this alien who sent out these bugs and all this stuff that caused this like thing to sweep across America, and you follow him through this first-person shooter that kind of broke the norm for the Wii, and it ended up being really good. And again, one of the things that you would use is the Wii speaker in the remote, so it allows you to get through mission, gives you hints, doing a bunch of different things, and then you would start adapting and grabbing alien technology, and it would go across, and you would basically have a very similar experience to Half-Life. I think it would be the best way to describe it. And you go against their forces, you fight, and that's it. It also had a multiplayer mode, which had 13 different game like variations of it. I only got to play a little bit of deathmatch, because by the time I got it, it was near the end of its lifespan. But the story was very good, and it was very good graphics for the time. It came out, what, like 2010? Yeah, it came out in 2000. Actually, no, Conduit 2 came out in 2010. This originally came out in 2009. And like I said, I remember this being all over E3. Everyone was talking about it, raving about it, and it was very good, and I had fun with it. So I genuinely enjoyed it. And you can still pick this game up for $10. That's what I picked it up for back then, back in what, like 2014? And now, 10 years later, it is still $10, and it's very worth the money. So if you got something $10 lying around, I really recommend picking up the Conduit. Another one that I want to recommend, which people are going to go, why, is Call of Duty WAW. I have a lot of memories with Call of Duty WAW. I have lots of good times. I ended up going in a national competition on it, getting 10th in the nation, and I just had a good time with it. It's a very solid game. It did cut out black cats and a couple other things in the game, but it also added some cool things about actually having to move and focus the gun and do a bunch of things. Way more in depth and way more into it than a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360 version. I generally ended up enjoying it. I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of memories. And for like $6, you can have a good Call of Duty, have a good time, and learn how hard it is to play it on the Wii compared to a regular, game station, regular PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I had lots of time. Multiplayer was fun. You couldn't do it, in-house. Actually, you probably could. But generally, you would just play online with friends and go from there. So for $6, you can get a good Call of Duty game, and there are other Call of Duties on there, but Call of Duty World at War is my favorite on the Wii. The next one I want to recommend at $4 is going to be Counterforce, which is also known as X Zeus. So this is a rail shooter. This actually was a Wii port of an arcade that came out in Japan around 2003. So it's very simple. It's a bullet hell. You're going through, you're playing these different robots with different skills and different attributes, and you're just shooting and avoiding and having a good time. It's basically a bunch of like nostalgia fun if you like early bullet hells or rail shooters. It was a good time, and for $4, it's a great Sega game, and a lot of people enjoyed it. And I just think for $4, you can get at least good 10 hours out of it. Enjoy it. It even got re-released, X Zeus and X Zeus 2, on the PS4, Xbox One, PC. It even got released on the Switch in 2021. There's a reason why people love it. It's a good classic, and people just enjoy it. And for $4, I think it's a good buy personally. Another one that I think if you want to put your skills to the test would be Trauma Center, Second Opinion. It's about $11, and it came out in 2007. It was very good. A lot of people enjoyed the skills, the very good visual novel aspect of it, as well as being in, going and doing operations and doing these things and activating superpowers. But it's set in the near future at the time of 2018, where medical science can cure previously incurable diseases. The story follows our young surgeon Derek Stiles as he uses his mysterious healing touch to treat a new disease dubbed guilt. Second Opinion expands upon the original narrative of the first Trauma Center, Under the Knife, through the perspective of Naomi Kishima, another doctor with the healing touch, same powers as him, and she guides him along in the game, teaching him how to do it properly and keep the gameplay moving. The visual novel is very good. A lot of people rant and rave about it even to this day, that Trauma Center was a very good series. They even moved it on to Nintendo DS at one point. A lot of people had a good time with it, and I like it. One of my favorite ways of getting introduced to it was watching the Game Grunts play it, and it was a funny, good time. After I watched them, I immediately had to go pick it up, because if I were to play this when the Wii came out, me and my little pea brain at the time would have not been able to figure out. But watching Danny and Aaron struggle on it, I figured out how to do it, and it was just a good time. So for $11, you get a nice, good game. You can watch your friends struggle and cry in chaos, or you can do it in front of your friends, or do it on stream, or play by yourself. Either way, it's a very good game, very solid visual novel, and it's an Atlas title. Atlas make good game. Why not just get it? So, highly recommend Trauma Center. Another fun one on the list is Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. It is very similar and pretty much ripped straight out of Ace Attorney. You follow Harvey going and trying to settle these cases while interviewing, interrogating, getting all the evidence, and giving that fun, chaotic vibe of the actual anime Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. Good humor. I genuinely enjoyed it. It's a very good Capcom game, and like I said, it's pretty much Ace Attorney but Harvey Birdman. If you really like the Ace Attorney games and you like good comedy, this is up your alley, and it's very fun on the Wii, and it also came out on the PlayStation 2 and the PSP. So, very good game for 2008, and it's only sitting at what, like $15, I believe? Sorry about that, I meant $12. For $12, you get Ace Attorney on the Wii pretty much, but funnier, in my opinion. It's very good, and like I said, it's Ace Attorney on the Wii. What more can you want? At number 4, I have No More Heroes. This has 3 games and a spin-off, No More Heroes Paradise, which came out in the 360 and the PS3 in Japan. But it follows an otaku named Travis Touchdown, who is a big fan of wrestling and anime. He uses a beam katana to that he won in an auction to beat down assassins and stuff like that, to which he ends up actually becoming involved with the United Assassins Association, and he's basically forced to kill higher ranked assassins. It's a free roam third person action game, lots of choices in the open world, lots of side stuff to do, very solid game, and there's a reason why there are a bunch of like sequels and stuff like that come after the game. But basically Travis wants to improve his life, so he needs to kill the top 10 ranking assassins because he ends up becoming rank 11. So he's like, well, I gotta kill the other 10 to make my way to the top, and you follow him on his antics, going around in a scooter around in this free world, and he ends up just enjoying life while beating down and having a lot of action. It's a very solid game, very good graphics for coming out in 2007, 2008. I think it's a really good buy, and for $11, this was a very good buy, especially now. And you'll have, I would say, at least about 20-30 hours minimum on it, especially if you try to like 100% it. You'll probably get like 40-50 hours. And there's other games that are coming out now that reference it or get ideas and are inspired by this game itself. So if you want something that's gone down in video game history and has inspired a lot of different things, I highly recommend you go and, get this. Plus, if you can't find it on a Wii and you have a Nintendo Switch, it got ported, or basically got ported in 2020, so you have plenty of options to pick this game up. Coming in at number 3 on the list and at $15 is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. This takes place 6 months after the last game, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, and it follows our bounty hunter Samus Aran, who becomes infected with Phazon by her doppelganger Dark Samus. And basically the goal is to prevent all this Phazon from spreading to other planets while being corrupted by the Phazon. So you end up doing some unique things with the first person aspect with the nunchucks and the Wii remote, because you got to aim to fire and jump and all that, because before it was on the Wii controller, you could just move around, but in this you actually got to point and do all this stuff. And for being 2007, it still looks kind of good, not gonna lie. I got gameplay going, but I really do enjoy it, and Retro Studios ended up doing something very, very good, and to this day people still really like it. And it being an open-ended game allows you to go to several different planets and different regions and keep going back and forth. And there's a bunch of rail system, bridges, stuff of that nature. Just a very good game. I mean, there's a lot of good enemies, a lot of good art, good world building around you, and you do X-ray vision and a bunch of other things. It was just a fun game, and I really do generally think for $15 you get a lot of good games, and you get a AAA title essentially on the Wii. Metroid is a very mainstream series, and for $15 you get a very good game. And there is actually another sequel that is going to be coming after this. It's scheduled to come out in 2025, so why not just play the trilogy or play this, because the trilogy came out in 2009, but you might as well play this before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. It might as well do it on the original console that it came for. So for $15, you have a lot of good time to enjoy this first-person action game, and you get to do a bunch of cool little things with the nunchuck and the Wii remote. I find it a win-win personally. For a second one on the list, I highly recommend Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility. For something nice and easy, you just get to grow a bunch of crops, you get to live your life, and you get to have a good, simple time. This is a very nice sit-back game, but the plot goes, the Harvest Goddess Mother Tree has been on Waffle Island for years, but it died 10 years ago. Some say it was because of old age, others say it died because no one cared about it anymore after disrespecting it. After the tragic death, everything turned gloomy, the wind stopped blowing, the sun shined less often, the seas raged violently. People moved away, and this once famous rainbows of the islands disappeared. The Harvest Goddess went to the tree, and no one heard from her ever again. So you end up reading about it, and you end up going and living on this island, and you are tasked with reawakening this goddess. So you grow, you end up being a farmer that, builds, buys, sells, and just enjoy life. It's a Harvest Moon game. For $14, you get to have a nice good time, 60-70 hours, easy into it, and you get to enjoy this rancher's paradise and just relax while moving along the main story. It's a win-win in my eyes. Very solid game, very enjoyable. The series, the Harvest Moon series, is fantastic and has been going on since like the N64, and I think before it on the Sega Genesis. Not Genesis, Sega CD, I'm not too sure, but I know for a fact Harvest Moon 64 is where it started for me, and it's been a very good time ever since. So I highly recommend if you want something to sit back, relax, and just have a chill time. For $14, very good purchase. And the number one game I would recommend to anyone who is picking up a Wii collection and trying to build a good, little sizable collection would be Mad World. It was a very nice, ahead of its time game black and white aesthetic with splashing red and blood of enemies all over the place. It was very good and very ahead of its time, very hyped up too. A lot of people were looking forward to it and a lot enjoyed it. And a lot of people realized that it was very heavily inspired, well, more partially inspired by the Sin City graphic novels. So, 3 days before the game's event, the fictional city Vargon City became a target for a group of terrorists called the Organizers, who severed the island city's transportation and communication ties with the rest of the world. They released a virus onto its population that would kill them in less than a day. However, the Organizers informed the populace that any person that killed another would receive the vaccine. The city quickly transformed into the stage of a reoccurring game show called Death Watch, with the announcers Howard Buckshot Holmes and former Death Watch fighter Dearly. The remaining citizens of Vargon City and new hopeful ones become the show's contestants, hoping to become a top-ranked fighter in the game and win a giant cash prize. Jack Kamen, voiced by Steve Bloom, by the way, a man with a chainsaw attached to his prosthetic arm, enters the game and manages to gain a sponsorship by Agent 13. And you follow this man as he goes through and plays this game show, and you follow him as he tries to make his way to the top of this game show. It is very fun, very humorous in my opinion, very bloody, lots of action, lots of gore, and is one of the few M-rated games on the Wii. So if you want something very peak and pinnacle to your game of collection for the Wii, and something that is amazing, that has a bunch of funny mechanics, a bunch of cool side little mini games and stuff like that, I highly recommend that you get Mad World. I have it sealed and I have it open. We will be doing it on stream hopefully in 2025, and I really do think it would be a very good game for you to add to your collection. Hopefully you guys enjoy all these suggestions that I gave to you. I sat down and I looked at what I have and what I've played and what I would really recommend to my friends and people who are getting into the collecting scene, especially for the Wii. And as I'm going through and collecting every single Wii game, this list may develop and I might make one near the end of it after I actually have all of them in my possession. So let me know what you guys think. I love you all, I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!